let's just do this. All right, everybody, welcome back. Today we've got a first impressions shoe review of the ADIDAS Terrex Agravic Ultra, super long name, and it's meant for going super long distances, hence the name Ultra. But does it actually work? All right, once again, thanks guys for sticking around. Like I said, this is Adidas's brand new trail running shoe for 2022, the Agravic Ultra. And like the name says, they've designed it for ultra marathons. And there's a lot of things that are really, really good about this shoe. But one particularly serious problem with it. The heel collar is just going to cause problems for a lot of people. And for me in particular, on this first run, it prevented me from continuing on in my run. But I do want to share my thoughts about this shoe because I think there are a lot of really good things going on with it that Adidas can improve for the future. All right, first off though, let's go through some stats. In the heel, we've got 38 millimeters of stack, and in the forefoot, we've got 30 millimeters, giving you a drop of 8 millimeters. So it's pretty aggressive for a trail running shoe. And yeah, it's pretty fun. The foams, we've got Light Strike and Boost. So the combination of these two is going to give you a pretty unique feel out there on the trails. The outsole, we've got Continental rubber, very sticky. And there is a full length plate in here. It's not carbon fiber, it's some sort of plastic, but it's there to give you a little bit of protection from rocks and roots, and also a little bit of propulsive action as well. Oh, there's a stick stuck in here. The upper is an engineered mesh, and this is like really like pretty substantial material. Like I really like this a lot for a trail running shoe. You can see through it, shine light through it, like you can see through it. So it's gonna expel water really easily. It's gonna be cool on hot days. The tongue is not gusseted at all. So it's just kind of like a free tongue in there, but does have a lace loop right here. So you can kind of like keep it secure in that way. But the weight, we are getting pretty heavy here. Running Warehouse says that this size 9 is 11.6 ounces. And when I weighed this, my size 11.5, it came in at 13.29 ounces, which comes out to 377 grams. So we are kind of tipping the scales here as far as some of the heavier shoes that I've ever tested. We are heavier than the Olympus. Like we are up there like in the top range of heavy shoes. But I will say though, it could possibly be worth it in the long run, especially like with a shoe like the Olympus or something like that that is heavier. You're gonna get a lot of this extra foam in the midsole, which is going to really help for ultra marathons. So let's move on to my opinions after my first run. Like I said, so the stats for my first run, they're not super impressive. I made it 4 miles in this shoe, and it's because this heel collar was just really causing some serious pain for me. I'm gonna go check to see how many blisters I have from these shoes. I'm not happy. Ugh. And honestly, I'm standing here the day after and my Achilles still hurt and I've got blisters on both of them, so this is not a good situation. I don't think I've tried any other shoes that are as tall as this. And with it being so tall, it's also super rigid. Like there's almost no padding around the heel collar, but it does not flex, it does not move. I can't see this breaking in anytime soon. So my biggest problem with this was that it was really causing a considerable amount of pain on my Achilles. I mean, you can just hear my finger like just hitting on the side wall of this heel collar. It's just a hard material. If your heel and ankle actually fits in here, it is going to provide you a lot of support over the long run across a full ultra marathon, maybe 100 miles or 50 miles, something like that. But for me personally, this heel counter across the Achilles tendon, when I put it on walking around the house, it hurt. There was almost like I almost didn't even try this shoe. And then anytime the trail was like not perfectly level, off camber a little bit, these side walls came in and kind of impacted with my ankle in a not pleasant way as well. So that's the negative stuff out of the way. Positive things. I honestly didn't notice the weight that much. Out on the trails, like there's a lot going on, and so you can take an extra ounce or two or an extra few grams and not really notice it that much on the trails, and especially if the trade-off is that you're getting better cushion and more responsiveness, better impact absorption. That can kind of trade off and the weight might not matter as much. So for me, I didn't mind the weight so much. One thing I really did like about this shoe though was the midsole. This Light Strike and Boost combination was really fun out there on the trails. The outsole was really grippy. Unfortunately though, the lugs, they're 4mm lugs, but they're really spaced really far apart. And so I don't know, like it was also snowy out there and a little bit slick, so maybe this wasn't like the absolute perfect conditions for what this midsole was made for. It probably does really, really well on dry surfaces, but for fresh snow and kind of like frozen trails, I just felt a little bit, tiny bit, like it just wasn't gripping as well as it could. But I could see this outsole doing really well in a lot of different environments. As far as these big cutouts go, this one is meant here kind of to be a little bit of a trampoline. You know, you feel that effect a little bit more out on roads. It probably does help a little bit on trails as well, but when the surface isn't exactly perfectly flat, it's going to be a little bit less of an impact for you. These spots right here, specifically these 3 spots right here, I would like to see them just go away, because as you can see right here, there's like a wood chip from a stick or something stuck in here, and I did have a couple times where something would get stuck in there and then I could feel it underneath my foot, kind of putting a little bit extra pressure on there. And so I'd stop and kind of like dig it out. But sometimes it's going to be really hard to dig these out. As far as the upper lockdown lacings go and everything, I really didn't have a super great feeling up there. And a lot of it comes from, I was having to loosen the laces a little bit to get my Achilles heel away from the back of this heel collar. I just really was like having a really rough time out there with everything that was going on back here, and so I loosened this a few times to try and help with that, and so as a result it kind of decreased the secure feeling that I wanted out on a trail shoe. Other than that though, I think this upper is going to be really fantastic for longevity, durability, and for all types of different weather, especially like water crossings, anything like that. I mean, this shoe, it just seems like it's going to drain really well. Seems like it's going to be really great in hot environments. I could see in cold environments you're going to wear some thicker socks. Like I was only out there for about a half hour today, so didn't really have a chance for my feet to get that cold. There are couple extra lacing holes down here in the middle and then also up here. Obviously this one's for the lockdown, but that was completely unnecessary due to the heel collar. But there are some opportunities where you probably could get a little bit of a better fit. I didn't try that out though, just because honestly, like I gave this shoe a shot and it was a miss for me. But I know that there's probably some amazing Adidas athletes out there that were testing this shoe out, but honestly I just don't know how this heel collar made it through production. So for the next version, Adidas, my recommendations would be fix this, give us a little bit more flexibility back here, some extra padding, and just decrease the profile of this heel collar. Just fix that ASAP, make it fit more people. Give us a little bit better lockdown in here. The tongue was pretty, like, this was just kind of lackluster for me. Like I didn't love it, didn't hate it. Just give us a little bit more secure feeling right here. And then maybe just improve the grip a little bit on sort of like harder, wetter surfaces. This is probably gonna do really great on soft ground, but hard, frozen surfaces, there wasn't enough surface area to really grab onto the trail. Midsole, I'd say don't change anything. Like this is a fantastic midsole. And then last thing, Adidas, I have to give you huge props on the looks. You absolutely knocked it out of the park on this one. Amazing. Absolutely love it. Like this is just fire out there on the trails. So keep that going with the next version. This shoe looks amazing. I would say definitely try it on in the store or have a really good return policy, like something from Running Warehouse or something where you can try it for 30 days and return it if it doesn't work. But that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye.